Hi there. So I got your question about checkpoint 4. So yes, I'll give you another attempt on it, but I was just gonna go through the questions that you missed with you real quick, and hopefully this will help you. So this one was, it said like which sequence is represented by this function if the domain is all natural numbers. So remember, all natural numbers means like 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting with 1 and all the positive numbers. So the sequence here, like if I plugged in 1, 7 times 1 is 7 minus 4 is 3. So the first number in the sequence would be 3. Then if I plugged in 2, 7 times 2 is 14, minus 4 is 10. If I plug in 3, 7 times 3 is 21, minus 4, so you get it. So you just keep going like that. So you find the sequence that matches this one right here. Okay. Second question you missed is it was talking about an arithmetic sequence. And so remember, an arithmetic sequence means you are adding or subtracting the same number every time. That's what makes it an arithmetic sequence. So here's the one you chose: -10, 5, -2.5, 1.25. So I don't see anything that's being added or subtracted the same the whole time. So like to get from -10 to 5, I would have had to add 15. And so that can't be the rule, because if I add 15 here, then this should be 20. So this is not an arithmetic sequence. This one looks like we're multiplying or dividing by something. It looks like we're dividing by -2 every time. So dividing by -2 would get you this sequence. So this is not arithmetic. So go back and look at the choices. Arithmetic means you're adding or subtracting the same number the whole time. So only one of those had only one of them was being added or subtracted the whole time. So go back and find that. And then the last two you missed are these recursive formula ones. So these are kind of tricky. They require a lot of work. So make sure that you're writing these down and not trying to just figure it out in your head. So we need to find the 9th term. So they give you that the first term is -3/2, and then they give you this formula. So to find the n term, you're going to take the n minus 1, the term before it, and add 1/2. And I apologize that my 3-year-old is playing in the background, but I wanted to answer you right away, and I didn't have a quiet minute. So if I want to now find the second term, so I'm going to go like this. So A2 is going to equal A1 plus 1/2. So they told us that A1 was -3/2. So A2 is going to be -3/2 plus 1/2. So A2 ends up being, so -3/2, that would be -1. So now I have A2. Okay, so I'm going to use A2 to find A3. So A3 is going to be the previous term, so -1 plus 1/2. Every time it's just adding 1/2. So A3 ends up being -1/2. And now I'm going to use A3 to find A4. So A4 takes the previous term, -1/2, and adds 1/2. So A4 ends up being 0. And I'm going to use A4 to find A5. So remember, this rule was just take the previous term and add 1/2. So A5 would just be taking the previous term 0 and adding 1/2. So A5 is 1/2. And then A6, I'm going to take the previous term and add 1/2. So A6 ends up being 1. And then to find A7, I take A6 and I add 1/2. Oops. So A7 is 1.5. So to find A8, I'm going to take the previous term and add 1/2. So A8 equals 2. And last, to find A9, I'm going to take that previous term and add 1/2. So A9 equals 2.5. So that is how you do those recursive formulas to find the right answer. And you can write this depending on how you did your fractional work. Like this is the same as writing 5/2 if you kept it as an improper fraction the whole time. Or I think you could even put like 2.5 if you were doing decimals. So. Okay, and then the last one. So it's very similar. They tell you that f of 1 is 2. And now we need to find the next term. So to find the next term, you take the previous term and add 4. Okay, so I'm going to show you, this one's not that hard. So I'm going to just show you without writing all of this out, because the rule is just I'm adding 4, right? So the first term is 2. And I need to get up to the 10th term. Okay, so I'm going to just keep going here. I'm going to add 4 every time. So I get 6, and then 10, and then 14, and then 18, 22, 26, 30, 34, 38. I'm just adding 4 every time. Let's see how many I got. So the first term was 1, or that's the first term, second term, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. So 10th. There I am right there. So the 10th term was 38. So sometimes this is necessary, especially depending on how complicated the original formula is. And sometimes it's not. If you're just adding 4, you can just start listing these out. You don't need to actually do like scratch work like I did up there. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if you still need some more help, and I'll give you another attempt on that right now.